All right, let's dive into something that is a massive and frankly pretty scary challenge at the very heart of AI today. It's called prompt injection. And it's not a security threat that targets code or firewalls. Nope, it targets the very way these AI models understand language.
So let me ask you this. With all the ridiculously complex algorithms and safety features baked into these massive AI models, do you think it's possible to completely hijack one with just a handful of words?
The answer is a big, flashing, undeniable yes. And this isn't some minor glitch we're talking about. According to the OWASP Top 10 for large language models, basically the gold standard for this stuff, this is the #1, top-of-the-list security risk facing AI systems right now.
So what exactly is prompt injection? Well, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is to think of it as social engineering before an AI. Instead of tricking a person into giving up their password, you're tricking the model into breaking its own rules.
The official definition from OWASP really nails it. The key phrase here is altering the AI's behavior in unintended ways. This is way beyond just making it say something funny. This is about coercing it to do things it was explicitly designed not to do, like ignoring its own safety protocols or giving you access to things it shouldn't.
And here's the really crucial part. You might think, okay, but what about all those advanced techniques like RAG, that's retrieval augmented generation, where an AI pulls in fresh information from outside documents? Surely that helps, right? Well, the research is pretty clear. It doesn't. This vulnerability is woven so deeply into the fabric of how these models work that it's just incredibly difficult to get rid of.
So how does an attacker actually make this happen? Well, these attacks generally fall into two main categories, and it all depends on where the bad instructions are coming from.
So on one hand, you have direct injection. That's when a user is deliberately trying to jailbreak the AI, feeding it a cleverly crafted prompt to get around its safety controls. But on the other hand, you have indirect injection. And this is where things get really insidious. This is when the AI picks up malicious instructions from something it's just trying to analyze, like a hidden command inside a web page or a PDF you asked it to summarize. The crazy part is, the user might have no clue they're even helping an attack happen.
And make no mistake, this is not just a theoretical problem. These kinds of attacks are happening in the real world right now. And the consequences, well, they can be pretty serious, depending on what kind of systems that AI is plugged into.
A successful attack can trick an AI into leaking sensitive info, like your private data or even its own secret system prompts. It can be twisted to change search results, run commands on your computer, and even influence critical financial or business decisions. The potential for damage here is just enormous.
The creativity of these attacks is pretty startling. For instance, you could ask an AI to summarize a web page, but that page has a hidden command that tells the AI to secretly email your entire chat history to an attacker. With the newer AIs that can see, a malicious prompt can be hidden inside an image. Then there's something called payload splitting, where the evil instruction is broken up into tiny pieces that the AI itself puts back together, completely fooling simple filters.
Okay, so if the problem is this fundamental, what in the world can we do about it? Well, the good news is that while there might not be a single silver bullet, developers are building a layered defense to try and manage the risk.
This defense has a bunch of key parts. It starts with giving the AI very strict rules about its job and filtering what comes in and what goes out. Then developers have to enforce what's called the principle of least privilege, which basically means the AI only gets access to the bare minimum it needs to function. It's also really important to clearly separate trusted content from untrusted content. For any high-stakes actions, you absolutely need a human to give the final thumbs up. And finally, you have to be constantly testing your own system, trying to hack it yourself to find the weaknesses before the bad guys do.
This whole situation leads us to a much bigger conversation. It's about the future of our relationship with artificial intelligence. This isn't just some technical bug to be squashed. It's a fundamental challenge to the very idea of a trustworthy AI.
And here's the hard truth. These models are, at their core, built to be a little bit random and creative. That's their magic. But because of that randomness, it's honestly not clear if 100% foolproof defense against prompt injection is even possible.
Which leaves us staring at a pretty critical question. If our most advanced AI systems can be so easily manipulated by language, how do we ever build systems we can truly depend on? What does trust even mean in the age of generative AI? That is the challenge we're facing now.